guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Starting to get a little frustrated. Hello, by the way. This is about the fourth time I've had to video this, and each time I keep running out of room, and I go and I ditch some files, and I delete this or do that, and I freaking lose this intro segment that I keep shooting. And what depresses me the most is this amp right here is a rebuild. Doesn't look like it, but it is a rebuild. This is from my good friend 300 in California. This is his 24 pill. I have lost all of the video segments where I deconstruct his box. I very meticulously test all of these transistors. I got to go through and clean all of them, and I've got to rebend all the tabs, and me polishing the heatsink, and me getting all this done. See, I'm also doing all of these amps over here at the same time, and they're all for different people, and stuff keeps getting lost. I'm getting a little frustrated here. So to help prove this point, this is the amp that we took apart for the transistors. This is 300's old 16 or 24 pill. Now I took it apart not aggressively, and I left most of the components in here because, like I told him when we originally started this thing 4 months ago, only 4 of the transistors, which were this section here, were questionable. And he told me the problem that he was having is it'd slap new pills in it and it'd blow up the same 4 pills, same 4 pills, same 4 pills, same 4 pills. And I'm like, cool. This is a beautiful hunky heatsink, by the way. So I said, you know, you get better performance if we take this old 1980s, 1990s way of thinking apart and we build you something a little bit more modern. Now what has happened is one of the capacitors in the combiner section had gone bad, and some of the output capacitors and the output transformers to swamp the output transformers had gone tits. And so the technicians he was taking them to was literally pulling the transistors out and slapping new ones in and said, here, you're good to go. And he would run it for a little while and then burn up again. But it was like I was telling him on the phone, let's take the incredibly valuable Toshibas out of here. We had 2 bad pills out of this 4-pill section, and 2 of them were incredibly low, like gains of 1 and 2. They were ready to go, just right on the edge. And I documented all of that, and I lost it. And that makes me mad. But like I was telling him, we can take, and if you wanted to, for about $500-600 down the road, once we get this guy completed, we could take and put Toshibas back in here and bring this amp back to life, but take the good parts and build something really kick-ass out of it. So the reason there's been such a delay is I took on this project, and then right after that we had a cabinet shortage, nationwide board heatsink cabinet shortage, and we're not going to go into the details of that. It's not worth it. Needless to say, fast forward about 4.5-5 months, the cabinet shortage is over. We can go and get cabinets, boards, and heat sinks. There's a huge backlog of equipment that needs to get out from the company that provides those things. I finally get the cabinets, and then I'm able to work this thing into the schedule. So that's where we sit today. We have the pill strips all cut. The transistors are all mounted. They're down on polished heat sink. Lost all of that video as well, and all of the video for all of these others. Frustrated. Absolutely, totally frustrated. So that gets you caught up to here, which we've lost probably about 45-50 minutes of this build already on video that you guys get to enjoy, and my customer gets to enjoy, and it all falls down on this guy right here. My fault, my bad. So needless to say, we got the cabinet. We've got the other one sitting here with all the screws and all the parts in here. We could easily go put this other amp back together with the cheaper transistors, and I mean, that's a great box. Somebody in the 90s put a lot of love into that amp. It's a one continuous homogeneous piece of heatsink, big thick heatsink fans, adequate air cooling on the bottom, adequate air cooling on the top. But what he wanted me to do is strip it all the way down and completely rebuild it into something that's built in this style, which is a more efficient circuit. The circuit that we're going to lay down here is more efficient than the one that all these parts came out of. And I told him no, it would be less work if I would take the parts out, the core of the parts, the transistors, the Toshibas, and put them into something newer. And he was all about that. I was like, sweet. Where we're at now is I got to do the power distribution. We're going to put the in and the output transformers down today, and then I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to go work on these over here, okay? And do the same thing with them. I'm so frustrated I lost all of that. God, I didn't want to start the video here. I wanted to start it when I had that other amp up here. But this is where we sit. So, moving forward, now what I got to do is strip and tin all of these, and I got to lay down all 12 of the power distribution network, and then we got to go through and mark where we want to have our power wires come through the board, and we're going to drill that out, and that's where I'm going to stop on this for today. Tomorrow I'm going to come back, we'll mount the relay, we're going to do a couple other things, and then I got to go back and jump on to doing repairs for 3 or 4 days, and then I can come back and work on these and get some of these wrapped up. I got a 16 pill in here that I've been working on for a guy. Now, he got me involved in this project entirely too long ago, and it needs to get done. So it's also in a 24 pill cabinet enclosure with a 24 pill heatsink. I had the guys at ICA do me a mega solid. I said, listen, these are going to be borderline comp boxes, both of these. This one's going to be a daily driver. This is going to be the driver for this box. But what I had them do is give me over-length heatsink. Normally the heatsink come back to about here and it stops. And they were kind enough to give me this super extra 6 inches of heatsink, which is a big deal. The more metal surface you can get underneath the transistor, obviously, is more surface area that you can heat up, and that more surface area gives you more ability to convey the heat to the air as a cooling. So it's going to make it a little bit crowded for the power wires in the back. We don't care about that. We'll work around that. I will gladly put up with that versus the shorter heatsink and not as much ability to dissipate heat. So we're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this, and everything in the kitchen sink at these over here as well, and we're going to move forward. The other thing I wanted to cover is my good buddy Zane at Big Rig Radio purchased a whole, well, pretty much every one of these metal capacitors we could find. I want to cover this because this is important. We got together and we did some deals. He bought some equipment, and then I turned around and sold some equipment, and we did some stuff, and we got together and kind of as a combined deal. This cap right here is what everybody's used to seeing, okay? We're all used to seeing this metal clad capacitor. It's about, what, a 5 or 6 kVA metal clad mica stack layer capacitor. These things are about $7-8 a piece, each one of these capacitors. There's another builder out there that was no longer in business, decided that he would try and save money by going and using all kinds of other caps, and it eventually was one of his major downfalls. So for me to vary away from these caps, because, well, let's face it, this is what everybody considers to be the industry standard, yeah? Okay? We still have these, we still have access to these, we're still buying these. These are two 500 puff metal clad capacitors put in series. Yes, no. Anyhow, they're 1,000 puff a piece. The difference is double the kVA. So this can handle twice the amount of pressure and heat dissipation as this cap. This is a step forward. Well, the reason I bring that up is because it's not only the 500s and the 1000s that we were able to lay our hands on. It was literally everything else in between. He's got 5s, 7s, 10s, 12s, 15s, 25s, 35s, 40s, 100s, 250s, 150s, 1200s, 2000s, 130s, 330s, 120s. This is just a very small portion. We bought something like 78,000 pieces in metal clad. We did that for a reason. We want to sell them to you guys. So, that was a large chunk of money and a lot of work on both of our parts. When you guys decide that you're going to ask for all metal clad parts, and all the builders that watch this, you guys can feel free to contact Zane at Big Rig Radio, and he will gladly sell you these. And these are 1,000 puff within 1%, and they're double the kVA rating. But you don't have to have this heavy of a kVA rating. The metal structure of the capacitor is what we have to shoot after. Okay? There's other guys that are using SMAs, surface mount capacitors. Those aren't working out too well. They get too hot. There's not enough metal in them. They can't dissipate the heat. We've seen failures with that as well. And it really comes down to placement. And if you're stuck sticking them on the top end of the transformer like that, there's a lot of electrical energy and a couple different field properties that take place at the top of the transformer that cause these to get warm. So, in my opinion, this is a little bit better than this. We're selling these at about $5 or $6 a piece versus $7 to $9 a piece for these. So, if you want to go get them, call him up, go check him out. That's his thing. Zane at Big Rig Radio. Anyhow, that's the reason the capacitors are different. Other than that, we're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at it. On all of these boxes, I have had the request to not make them too ornate. And what do they mean by that is I have kind of become very well known for making incredibly elaborate amplifiers that are incredibly pretty to look at, but if something does break in them, they're a giant pain in the ass to fix. So, on these, we're going to stretch more towards absolute pure streamline functionality and ease of transistor replacement, because people do overdrive stuff, antennas do fall off, coax connectors do go bad, shit gets left on, stuff happens. I mean, shit happens, right? So I want to make it so that the transistors are easily interchangeable, and one of the things that I've done to aid that is instead of taking the pill strip and sliding it dead up onto the transistor, I've slid it back just a hair, just big enough so that you can get a dental pick underneath there to lift up each one of the legs. That kind of thing is what we're doing here. So, now that we've got all the groundwork laid down, this is section 1. This will be part number 1 for Mr. 300, and then each one of these other videos, or each one of these others will be their own segmented pieces of equipment and different videos on their own. So, okay. away we go. Well, here we are, Mr. P. This is going to turn into a 2 driving 6. So we're going to use this section here to drive these other sections here with variable power. Now, you'll notice that the transformer size has changed a little bit here. It's because I'm going to slowly start using these input transformers versus these. This is a superior design. I've got many more of these on order. It's superior in a lot of different ways. It's heat dissipation, and the reason there's a tip to the board here is because when I sanded the edges of them to make sure they can't make contact no matter what, I take it and put them on a belt sander. I do like 300 of these in one whack one day, and the sand cut's not exactly perfect, but the face portion of these is beautiful. They're not just cut with a Dremel. These are actually etched. Etched and etched. These are the transformers I originally wanted to go with when I came out with this transformer design, which we all know is, well, an improvement. It's a step forward. So, okay. This now has to get shuffled aside. And as far as this gentleman's concerned, and the rest of you guys in video land, we're going to continue forward with this box, because the next segment we come back with, I'm going to be continuing on just this amplifier. But in reality, I'm now going to jump over and do the exact same thing with this 2, driving 4, driving 16, into a 24 pill enclosure. Away we go. I'll be back, boys, girls, dogs, cats, ponies, horses. I love how fast this new camera boots. Okay, Mr. Paul, here's your 2x6 I'm building for you. Just got all the coaxes in, all the inputs done, all the Class C coupling done, output capacitors installed for the output tune, 150, 150, 150, all metal clad. The oversized, over KVA rated 1000 puffers on the output transformers, and yeah, relays in, and we're working on it one step at a time. So I'm going to continue on this. We should have it in the cabinet and about 80% done by the end of the day. So on to the next step. Well, I'm at my favorite part on the whole thing. This is where I put the power wire in. Come on, focus. Yeah, that's why I need to get that other lens. Ready to drop it in. The cabinet's all prepped up and ready to go. We're going to run the power wire out through the bottom, which I freaking love. It's the advantage of using a little bit of a jumbo cabinet. Yeah, putting the power wire in it. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to do a capacitor bank across that. The combiner section's all put together. The output section's all put together. Or the input splitter, the output section, the combiner, it's all put together. Just been over here talking on the phone, building a 6-pill. Paul, I think you're really going to enjoy this. I think you're really going to enjoy this. So, let me keep working. Stuff only gets done if my hands are moving with a soldering iron in it. We shall return. Artsy-fartsy shit. I just love this new camera, I'm not gonna lie. Love it. So, this is an oversized 2x4 cabinet, and we slammed in here a 2x6. Now, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Old school tech, finding its way back into a new world order. These are my new input transformers. I've started using them now officially. Not gonna lie, they're very Prime Minister based. He had a lot of leftover parts, a lot of leftover plates and stuff, and I was like, I will take these. And these are genuine skull cracker pieces of equipment that are up in here, and they work great. Now, because the way the cabinet is oriented the way that it is, it's a little bit taller. It's about a ½ inch taller than the normal miniature 2x4 cabinet. But then again, it's got more heatsink in it. So this thing, literally, I just put power on it, moved the input tube a little bit, and the thing was done tuning. I mean, it laid down perfectly flat. Now, the oversize on the dimensions, where that comes into handy is this is a big, 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 thick fan. This is like an inch thick JMC 120 millimeter fan. And that allows us to do a little bit better cooling. And he wanted a mall monster, is what he said. I want it to just rock on AM only. So I went ahead and added some Panasonic caps in here for just a little bit more filtration, a little bit more buffer. And let's put some screws in the cabinet here. Let's get on with running this thing. We're going to try and do this and not take the camera off the tripod. And if I can take the camera off the tripod, I'm going to jump back to the camera. Because we can haul butt with that little one. Okay. Now we're done with that. Let's go around here and take a look at the front. This is number amp 1388. That's all she wrote. So let's go over here. Let's take ourselves a minute, and we're going to go look at what we got going on here for slugs. So we're going to put that down in 1X. It's a 1,000 watt slug in 1X, 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug in reverse. So let me show you what I'm putting into this for drive power. Whop and hold 20 watts. We've seen this before. We're on the 2950 up here. We're on the 2950. Let's scan over here. Let's go look at our pass-through tune. Perfectly flat. That's what we're looking for. So let's come back over here. And check this out. This is 20 watts of peak drive. That's 600 Bert. And that's with the lazy, everyday, plain Jane frickin' RCI 2950 attached to it. This thing is running really good. Let's take that up to 2X. Now full deflection all the way over here to the right. Over here on the right is 2,000 watts. Your eyes aren't lying to you. It's like 1,900 and some change, 1,700 and some change. Check it out. So this 80 right here, that's 1,600 watts. It's 18 and some change out of a 2x6 on 14 volts. Let's go up here once again. Here's our input tune on this meter. It's golden. It's gold. I don't think I need to say anything more. Mr. Paul, listen, bro. Do the world a favor. Don't overdrive this. Please don't. Take it easy on this girl. Now, my friend Paul here, he's got one of my 48 pills, and he loves it. Runs like a raped animal. Brother, I gotta tell you, take it easy. Because these transistors that are in this box are $210 a piece. That's right. There's well over what you paid me to build this box like 9 months ago, and just transistors in this cabinet right now. So be kind to it and love on it. Now I know this video was kind of short. I know it was super lacking in a lot of detail. I just wanted to get this done. I've had this particular board at about 50% completion now for over 2 months. And I've been out of town doing this, that, and the other thing. And I got to come home and I got to be serious. So I'm over here working. I just wanted to get this done for him today, and it can be out of here tomorrow. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go on over to the editing room 4 and put this all together for you all to watch. I appreciate you all tuning in, checking out a rebirth. A birth, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's something new for a friend of mine. If you have any questions or anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to call that number. Now look, I'm not taking on any new work right now. I'm not taking on any new repairs. I am not doing any new builds. I'm not taking on any work at all. And you assholes that are out there that are no longer calling me, you're just sending me your stuff. Unless I talk to you beforehand on the phone, I'm just going to start returning stuff to people. It's not fair to the people that have already waited for a long period of time just to get me to work on their stuff. And personally, I think it's a little bit disrespectful. So please, I had a couple show up here today that I don't remember talking to anybody about. Don't do it. But I appreciate the love. Alright, on that note, I gotta go. I'll see you, gents. I'll be back. Next up, 2x4 and 16 pill. I'll see you. Bye.